Story 1. An idea for not letting my daughter go on a class trip? My daughter transferred to a new school this year. It's a private school, and part of their traditions is a beginning of the year overnight class trip every August. She was too late for this year, but next year's is a 2-night trip to Philadelphia. One problem: no more than 6 people can share a hotel room, and there are now 37 girls that would need one. We found out that there's a group of 4-day-only kids, 3 girls, 1 boy, that actually do stay overnight at the same hotel even, they just don't do it through the school. The 4 aren't super well liked, and there have been bullying issues, especially against the boy, but they're friends with each other, so the parents banded together and decided to just fund and chaperone them themselves to avoid any issues. They do 2 rooms, one for the kids and one for whichever parent goes. They've reached out and offered to let my daughter share with them. She wants to do it. I'm not comfortable. Co-ed sleepovers are not acceptable. It's completely inappropriate. We've been back and forth with this for weeks. The verdict is clear. There's no open room she can get into through the school. They're not getting her a single room. We can't afford to do anything similar to the other independent group, and we just can't accept a co-ed sleepover. Going is not an option. She's devastated and begging me to reconsider. She says it's my fault that she even had to transfer schools sophomore year, and that we've had to move so much that this is the first time we're going to be somewhere for multiple years. I think we need to pass, but now my husband is starting to waffle and say that maybe we should consider making an exception because everything has been hard on her, and this is a major school tradition and opportunity for her to make friends. Story 2. An idea for not telling my sister that my baby's name was always just a joke. My wife has recently given birth to my first child, but it is her 4th. With her first pregnancy, her family were very critical of the baby names she liked, so she just started giving her children ridiculous fake names, defending them furiously, and then, to everyone's relief, changing her mind last minute and naming them something normal. I thought this was hilarious, and thus we named our baby girl Grenadine. The joke fell kind of flat though. My parents were too polite to say anything, and my wife's family had already caught on and took no notice. We kept using the name as an inside joke regardless because it had grown on us. Not long after we revealed the baby's sex and name, my brother revealed that they were MTF and would be transitioning soon. This wasn't massively surprising to anyone, so she didn't really get much of a reaction beyond a polite, "good for you" from all of us, to be honest. Skip forward to now. My wife is out of hospital, and we've brought Susan, fake name for privacy but think something similar, home, and my family came to visit that week. My parents were visibly relieved and gushed over the new baby and her new name. My sister, on the other hand, pulled me aside and asked why we changed it. I explained the whole joke and that it was never a sincere choice, and she got very agitated. Apparently she had adopted the name for herself. I asked her why she would even do that, and she told us she just felt a connection to the name when she heard us say it. I told her I didn't understand the issue. She hadn't legally changed it, and she hadn't even introduced herself as such to us yet either. She said that she had started using the name with her friends and in her daily life outside the family, and now it felt as if we were laughing about it behind her back the entire time. I went to rejoin the rest of my family because I'm just baffled at this point and thought my sister can pout for a while, but she'll get over it. She hasn't yet and is refusing to speak to me or acknowledge the baby when I bring her over. My sister still lives with our parents. Ida? Story 3. I slept with my ex-classmate. This is a really pointless story or thing that happened very, very recently that I've been itching to talk about but haven't had the chance to, and I just need someone to know about this or I'll go insane with keeping this to myself. IF18 have slept with AM19, who is among a lot of things mainly my neighbor since childhood, used to be a childhood friend and ex-classmate. Lives right across the street from me. I've known the guy my whole life and went to kindergarten, elementary, and middle school with him. We've kind of lost contact after our class went its separate ways for high school. But we were still, familiar with each other, talked if we met on the train or so. Well, last night was New Year's Eve, obviously. And him plus another one of our ex-classmates and one of their friends were at his house while I was spending the celebration at my house with my brother and mutual friends. I went out for a smoke around 9 or 10 p.m. and A was on the balcony smoking with his company. We somehow got to talking and one thing led to another and I went over there for a few drinks. And one thing led to another and suddenly I was alone with A in his living room while his guests were upstairs. And somehow we got to kissing. Now important fact to mention that I was a virgin at that point and we were both drunk. Well, made it very clear to him that I have zero to none experience whatsoever. And he was so patient with me? I am like absolutely shocked about that, you know? And he asked permission to do things so much? He asked if it's okay he's kissing him, if it's okay for him to take his shirt off and so like he checked everything with me if I was okay. And like I was so stressed about it all progressing, not like I didn't want it more like I didn't know what to do. But he took the lead so well. And he willingly went down on? Like he wanted to eat me out? Which I was baffled with. And mind you, this was all happening in the living room with the door open LMAO. So eventually we moved to the bathroom where we fucked, and it was messy and chaotic and neither of us finished. We didn't have much time BC, it was really close to midnight. So I had to leave to go back to ours for midnight. But even as I was going out the door, he pulled me back to kiss me and just hug high. It was such an experience. And like we texted after we want to repeat and such, but we didn't necessarily make plans LOL. But now that it's the next day, it's really downing on me that my fucking ex-classmate took my virginity and just oh my god, you know. I girl bossed too hard that night.